Hello to
Hello,
you, Stephen.
Jade.
Let's start with some trouble on the markets this morning.
Yeah, shares across Asia have plunged in trading this Monday. This, the latest in a series of events which started last Thursday, with data coming from China showing that its manufacturing sector could shrink this January. Now, new figures that on top of that, new figures showing that Japan posted a record commercial deficit of $112 billion in 2013. This, the difference between the value of its imports and its exports, that hasn't helped trading over in the Nikkei in Tokyo, down 2.45%, but all of the Asian shares down, mainly over fears of what might happen with the world's second largest economy.
Right, well, meanwhile, Eurozone finance ministers will meet later today, won't they?
Yeah, and they're going to be talking about Greece and Portugal as always and their bailout loans. Greece is awaiting the return of the troika of international lenders, the EU, the IMF and the European Central Bank, to Athens this week to examine its progress before it gets the next instalment of its bailout loans. They're not, of course, popular visitors, the troika, and now the European Parliament wants to examine how they do their job. Siobhan Silk has the story.
This is the welcome the Troika got in Greece. Its drastic remedy was a bitter pill to swallow for the Greek people. But after years of hardship, the Prime Minister says the country's head is above water, just as austerity has reached its limit.
You cannot negotiate anymore on issues that have to do with more taxes or less pensions, because this level is the minimum acceptable level that allows for social cohesion.
The Troika guided Greece's two bailouts totalling €240 billion, made up of officials from the International Monetary Fund, European Central Bank and European Commission. It was an ad hoc solution to an urgent problem.
The Troika was put in place because of a lack of the proper instruments. We didn't have the tools at the beginning of the crisis. It's not ideal, the Troika, but it worked out. The Troika's problem is not the quality of its instruments, but its democratic legitimacy. It doesn't have that.
Former European Central Bank Chief Jean-Claude Trichet believes there was no other choice in the face of a country whose spending was out of control.
If it wasn't for the Troika, if it wasn't for European and international aid, the recession would have been much more dramatic. And so would the problems faced by the Greek people. There's no doubt about that.
Critics have complained the Troika isn't supervised, but the European Parliament is now studying its activities. A report on those findings is to be published in the coming weeks.
Let's move on now with a look of some of the day's companies' news. And Google and Samsung have signed a cross-licensing deal for their patented products. It'll apply to both existing and future technologies. The idea is to avoid costly litigation in the future, like that which Samsung is currently embroiled in with its rival Apple. And the French department store Galeries Lafayette has abandoned plans to buy the UK retailer House of Fraser. The two have been in talks since last month. Galeries Lafayette executive Nicolas Houzet confirmed the deal was off in an interview with French newspaper Les Echos. He also said the company's management would be set for an overhaul.
All right, Stephen, just finally, the French National Train Service is set to bring back a legendary service. Tell us more.
Yes, the Orient Express train last travelled from Strasbourg to Vienna just over 4 years ago. It closed after suffering from competition from low-cost airlines and other high-speed train services, but the SNCF is set to unveil a new company this week using the Orient Express brand, which it owns. It's going to start launching a series of Orient Express products, including luggage in cooperation with the French luggage maker Moynin. And there's also going to be plans to sell Orient Express mattresses at about €40,000 each. This all as a prelude to bringing back the train service, it's hoped, within 5 years.
Wow, those better be some pretty comfortable mattresses.
I hope so.
All right, thanks very much for that wrap-up of the business news, Stephen Carroll. Time now for our French